guys? VALTORIOUS the Awoken here. Now, we haven't done a Naruto What If, I think for like probably like a while now. But yeah, what if Obito was actually what if she was the one that was Naruto's teacher? Now, this was actually hit up by me by somebody in the comment section below, and it was like, yeah, do a what if Obito actually was Naruto's teacher. Now, here's the thing about this. Obito probably would have been the perfect student for Naruto. Like hands down would have been a perfect student for Naruto. Even though Jiraiya was cool and he was good for him, but I think Obito probably would have been perfect for him, because let's just say the stuff that didn't happen at Konami Bridge, it was totally different, right? Like Obito kind of like talked some sense to Kakashi, but it didn't go through enough for him to like change his mind, because the only way Kakashi was able to truly like change his mind was because Obito sacrificed himself, and then that's how the whole thing led up to Kakashi actually changing his views on a couple of things because of what Obito told him. Now, Kakashi would have been an Ambu Black Ops. Like, even though he was promoted to being a Jonin, but he would have eventually would have let down to the Ambu Black Ops trait, where Obito would have been a sensei and a teacher and stuff, and Rin, she would have never died either. She would have been, I guess a supporting character. She still would have been there as well. But let's just say, like, in this what if theory to the what if story, that when Obito would have been teaching Naruto, like, it would have been like how Iruka was, but she wasn't, because Iruka wasn't really the number one knuckleheaded ninja compared to how Obito kind of was like Naruto, and to eventually Obito kind of like fell down a darker path because Madara was playing ancestor old tricks against him and stuff, saying like, listen, I killed your woman, I set the whole thing up, and yeah. But yeah, like, Naruto would have never had the hardships that he would have had, because he would have had both his parents, and how Naruto is to Boruto in the show, that's how Minato probably would have been with Naruto. He probably wouldn't have had as much time that he would have had for him, and probably would have been like, okay, Obito, you teach him a couple of things. So he would have had Obito, Sasuke, and Sakura on his team, and how he would have been looking at Sasuke, he would have been thinking about how Kakashi is and stuff. Like, he would have been seeing him as that type of a guy, and Naruto would have been like himself, and Rin would have been like, Sakura would have been like Rin. So he would have been teaching Naruto a couple of things and stuff, and they would have had the same thing like how Kakashi had, where they had to take the bells from him. So he'd be like, okay, I want you to try to take the bells from me and stuff. So I think maybe it would have been Obito messing up a little bit, but I think he probably would have been the one to inevitably kind of like win that bout, because the whole thing was just to take the bells. That was it, just to rob the bells for me. But I would have said that even though he would have asked the question, like, okay, what is your goals, right? Like what is your goals? And Sasuke probably would have told him that, oh, I want to kill the Uchiha clan, because at this time the whole the coup would have happened, but I would have said that Itachi would have been the one solo, and like that still would have happened. That all would have been Itachi, but he still would have had like this hate. And while Naruto would have had his parents, it wouldn't have been like how it was where Naruto was always alone and Sasuke kind of had a family, but they was all slaughtered. So it would have been different for that situation and stuff, even when they was going on missions and stuff. Now Naruto still would have had like a tough time to even cope with trying to kill, because even when, like, the first time that you see where those two ninjas showed up and Naruto was scared and he was like, oh, what is this? And that's when Sasuke was the one like doing the work, and he was like, oh, what's wrong, baby? Like, you can't do this and that and stuff. And two, I would have said Obito probably would have straightened up Naruto a bit, but like, I was in tough situations, stuff that happened in his past life, with the Konami Bridge, and he had to kill somebody and stuff. And two, he would have been scoping up Naruto to be like a great ninja, because he would have been like, I see a lot of you in me. So I would have said he would have been teaching him a lot, but I wouldn't say he would have been like his like personal teacher, because eventually he would have went over to Sasuke, but then he wouldn't have been able to get through to Sasuke, even though they both Uchihas. But he probably wouldn't have been able to get through to him, because he would have been like, you're more of a jokester, like I can't really see myself learning anything from you. And then eventually I would have said he probably would have learned some crazy shit from Kakashi. Like something would have led up to him meeting Kakashi, and he was like, oh, you know, you're Ambu and this and that, and he probably would have been learning a lot of things from Kakashi, because Kakashi did have the whole lightning blade, and he taught Sasuke, and then Sasuke, you know, perfected it, and it was the Chidori. So I think that kind of would have been different, but it would have been of a darker tone, because Kakashi would have been teaching Sasuke, you know, like, oh, you want revenge and this and that, more of a darker heart and stuff. Now, I don't personally think if Sasuke would have left the village or not, maybe not, but under the teachings of Kakashi, he probably would have learned a thing or two. And two, maybe Obito would have been like, you know, what are you teaching him and stuff, and he would have been like, I'm doing things my own way, you know, the dickish edgelord ways, you know. And I personally see Kakashi, he probably would have been like that, you know, because nobody would have died, and you know, Rin would have probably been trying to like get everybody back together, and, you know, all that type of stuff. But yeah, you know, I think it probably would have been like that with Obito. Like Obito would have been like this clownster joker of a, you know, of a Jonin. Yeah, that's what I probably would have said. Like he would have been, you know, just like that. Him becoming Hokage, he probably would have not been Hokage yet, because the third Hokage was still Hokage at the time. He would have told Naruto the same thing, like his dreams of becoming Hokage, changing up the village and stuff. Now, I would have said that probably when Orochimaru came in and he killed the third Hokage, and he was looking for a pseudo replacement, he probably would have stepped in and tried to like take the name of being Hokage or whatever. And he probably would have been temporarily like the Hokage until, I don't know, somebody would have said, yo, didn't Harashirama had a granddaughter, you know, Tsunade, and two, they probably, maybe she would have been the choice. But I would say like maybe Obito probably maybe would have been elected a temporarily Hokage, and two, maybe she would have came in or something, you know. But overall, Naruto would have learned a lot of things from him, like a lot of hardships and stuff, and probably like learning teachings to probably like become a better person and stuff, because he would have never been like the person in the Leaf Village where everybody like hated or was scared to get close to it. It wouldn't have been like that. It probably would have just been like he would have been a kid trying to learn maybe things about others' pain that he never experienced or known, because, you know, when Naruto was by himself, he didn't know the like the feeling of being loved, but pain and stuff, that was like the one thing that he knew, and loneliness and sadness, that's the one thing that he knew. But if he would have had a family, he would have not known those things until eventually he would have started to pick up some things and would have learned. Now, the coup with Orochimaru, like I said, he probably would have killed the third Hokage and figured some sort of way of trapping the fourth. Even though the fourth was very fast, and he probably would have just destroyed Orochimaru, and that stuff probably never would have happened. But once again, Orochimaru is a smart tactician, so I would have said he would have had something for the Yellow Flash, because everybody knows that how in this story the Yellow Flash wasn't, some people say he wasn't really a good Hokage because he wasn't there on occasions where you know, Obito died and he wasn't there for Rin. But you gotta say one thing, the part when he wasn't there for Rin, Madara had that covered. Madara knew that Minato was fast, and he could have done something. He knew, but he had him distracted. So you can say that it was because of Madara, or you could say it was because the fourth Hokage, you know, Yellow Flash, he sucked. You know, Minato, he was a trashy Hokage or whatever. But yeah, I would probably say that would have been there. And I would have said that probably like during like the years of Naruto upcomings and stuff, and he probably would have had training from both. Like he would have had like Obito teaching him some things, right? Then Minato probably would have been like, okay, whenever he had some time off of being Hokage, he probably would have trained Naruto, teach them how the Rasengan and all this other stuff. And then Jiraiya probably would have showed him Sage Mode, but that would have been later on. All that stuff would have been later on. So I would have said that Naruto would have had like 3 figures that he would have been looking up to. Would have been Obito, his father, and then Jiraiya. And then eventually, like the slaughter of the Pains, it would have been crazy because you would have had every man in defense, like trying to like stop the Pains. Because I would say Jiraiya still would die, right? And they probably, like, everybody would have maybe still would have died, but the goal would have been to, you know, take the Nine-Tailed Fox from Kushina. Like, that still would have happened, but maybe it would have been a little bit different, because I would have said, like, maybe after when they took the fox from her, right? And then maybe, like, if Minato showed up and then and Naruto and maybe Obito, you know, well, actually no, just Naruto. Yeah, because everybody would have been dead. So probably maybe just Naruto, maybe Minato, they probably would have showed up, right? Came and tried to save her, but then maybe it would have been too late for her. She would have died. Nine-Tailed Fox go out of control. And then Minato probably thinks of a way of, well, maybe I could place it inside of me. Or he does, or no. He splits it. He splits the Nine-Tailed Fox, so he gives part of it goes to him, and then part of it goes to Naruto, right? And then that's when Naruto will probably understand, like, loss, because not only because Pain murdered everybody, but the death of his moms and he couldn't save her. Well, slow death, because when she had the Nine-Tailed Fox ripped from her, she still was able to survive it. So I probably would have said it may have been a slow death for her, you know. But yeah. I think Naruto probably would have had like 3 figures and stuff, and then eventually learn the pain of loss and of losing somebody and stuff. And then the darker path for Sasuke probably still would have happened. It probably still would have happened because he still would have eventually would have went out to try to kill Itachi and stuff, but he would have learned how to, you know, shoulder his heart and be more darker. He would have got that from Kakashi, and then maybe when left the village, had that fight with Naruto would have lost because, one, he doesn't have the Nine-Tailed Fox, so he wouldn't have lasted a while. He wouldn't have lasted. Like, he would have went down pretty easy. He would have went down pretty easy in the fight and stuff. And then Orochimaru probably would have took him or some shit. And that's when, like, Shippuden would have probably been just a little bit different, because not only you would have had like Obito there, Kakashi probably would have snapped out of not being with the Amble anymore, because he would have learned that technically he would have led Sasuke down this darker path, instead of like seeing the error of his ways and just realizing that maybe not being a dick edgelord wasn't the right way to go and stuff. Because, you know, like I said before, when they was kids, Kakashi was like, man, fuck everything. My father died, man, fuck all this. I don't care for nothing. You know, like I said, that still would have been Kakashi. Despite everything that Obito would have been saying to him, that still would have been Kakashi and stuff. So, yeah. I think that's probably, I'll say that. I'll make a part 2. I probably would make a part 2, like, maybe, like, what if, you know, Obito probably would have trained Naruto, despite him losing, like, maybe his family and stuff, and yeah, and they trying to maybe like be his family and stuff, like maybe Obito lives with him or whatever. So I might make a part 2, but if you like what you heard you like, you know, please subscribe, share, do all that wonderful stuff, and I'll catch you later.